to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 309 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, you're feeling under the weather this week, huh?
Yeah, lacrosse got me.
Yeah.
Went to the first women's lacrosse game, fire up chips. But, yeah, I think that's what got me.
Yeah.
Could be the kids, too. You know, they bring home everything.
What got you to lacrosse?
Actually, I have a buddy whose fiance is a national collegiate referee and does a lot of women's lacrosse across the Big Ten. And she had a game at Mount Pleasant. So I said, hey, I'm coming out. That'd be great. So
Nice.
A bunch of us got together, kind of a reunion of some of our buddies. So it was actually pretty cool.
Have you watched lacrosse before?
Nope, never before.
So you were just as out of the loop as I was a week ago when I did it, because
yes, 100%. I couldn't figure out why they weren't just firing it at all times at the goal, and there's rules apparently for all that. So
and also
I got a full education.
Apparently, it's fully legal to just whack each other with your sticks too.
Yes, it is. Yes, I did. I've always stated this: women are tougher than men.
Oh yeah.
And watching women's lacrosse, I'm like, yep. Women are still tougher than men. So
women's hockey's like that too, man.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's funny
you
had your first lacrosse experience a week after I had my first lacrosse experience.
Apparently it's growing, so that's good.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Growing just like the popularity of Atlanta Motor Speedway, right?
Wow. Well done.
Was that not professional?
Well done. As long as you're recording this episode, I think you're 2 for 2 already. You've got the professionalism down, my man.
Yeah, so far it is recording, so I think we're doing well.
Yeah, you've got that going. You've got the transitions going. We are we're off and running. No, I wanted to come on here because you have been to Atlanta.
Yes.
And I feel like Atlanta is aged into perfection at this current moment, because that was a phenomenal race. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was we got to see the glimpse of it last fall, and then the rain caused us not to see it finish out. But yeah, this place has, as you said, aged to perfection at this point. I hope it doesn't age past that and continues to provide a show like this, because right now, James, holy crap. We both failed the best race of the season.
Yep, we lost that.
I mean, that's over with. It's got to be. There's no way. You're not going to beat this. Maybe Atlanta 2 for the playoffs. Maybe. But man, that was incredible. And just, I mean, and even if you take the finish away, like you don't even need the finish for this to be just a spectacular race. And then you add the finish, man. Holy hell.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a really good day. It was like a really good B+ A- day. And then that finish was the capper of a just phenomenal series of events that led to, it was on from go.
Yeah.
Like these guys were racing hard. And to see guys like Kyle Larson come out after that race, even though they wrecked out, and we're like, man, we were racing hard. That was a lot of fun. Really has kind of twisted my view on what I thought of Atlanta initially, because I was worried that it was a little bit of a, like I think I said this last week, but it was a little bit of a Frankenstein's monster where, it's not Talladega, it's not Daytona, but it's, somewhere in there. But, when they started going 4 wide late in that race, I was on the edge of my seat, and it was exactly what they wanted it to be. That was perfection.
Yeah, so let me give you a little glimpse of my weekend. I was doing photography for a hockey tournament this weekend. So I spent most of my time behind the camera taking photos, about a little over 27,000 of them this weekend. So I came home Sunday, and the race was delayed. I watched the race delayed. So I started watching it, and I watched the first 2 stages while I was editing photos. And then as they got to the end of the second stage, I'm like, okay, it's a good time to go to bed. I'm going to shut everything down. I'm just going to watch the last stage, because it was good. I mean, it was great up to that point, and I wasn't paying full attention to it. So I went upstairs, and I'm watching on my iPad, and like I think there were like 15 laps to go or 20 laps to go or something, and a notification pops up on the top of my iPad. It's the Teardown podcast posting, and the title is just "Have you ever?" And I'm like, oh boy, something big is gonna happen. So I knew something was coming, but I didn't know what was coming, and I still wasn't prepared. So my wife was sleeping next to me, and I don't ever react like out loud or stuff, especially when I'm laying in bed watching a race. But I just audibly that they crossed the line, I went, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't get that finish very often.
No.
I mean, it's
you don't ever get that finish.
And there's a lot of people who say that this racing is manufactured, and there's a lot of things manufactured, but you don't.
All of racing is manufactured, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're racing with machines, and I know. But you cannot stage what we saw on Sunday. That was, Suarez, Blaney, and Busch, and they raced each other clean.
Yeah.
And they all gave each other a chance. I mean, I thought Blaney won the damn thing.
Yeah, I was certain Blaney was the winner.
Yeah, because I just was like, my first impression was like, I jumped off the couch and I went, holy crap, Blaney did it again. Like, that was my initial response. And then, I saw the scoring. I'm like, no, Blaney won that. Blaney won that. Nope, Blaney did not win that. Daniel Suarez. How did Daniel Suarez win that race? Oh, man, that was, you don't ever, Eric, in all forms of motor racing, you don't ever get the delayed, 15 seconds, 20 seconds,
not
30
anymore.
Seconds. Who won that race? And
right.
It was, it was beautiful. Beautiful thing.
It doesn't go that way anymore. There's always the uncertainty, but you're always pretty sure you know. And there was none of that in this one. It was, I think everybody was fooled. Everybody seems to think Blaney was the guy, but that's because, the camera angle we had, Suarez was pinched up against the wall, so it was a little tougher to see where he was. But, just, and like they went 3 wide and 3, and they stayed pretty much like that all the way around 3 and 4 and off to the start finish line. They didn't even wreck after the start finish line. I mean, if they would have done that Saturday, it'd have wrecked the whole field. And that just goes to show you the talent level of these guys and what they can do in these cup cars, man. It was just respect, great racing, and just, man, everything you could ask for. Everything you could absolutely ask for. This is one of those moments that NASCAR needed this, especially coming off the Netflix documentary. It's too bad this wasn't the first race of the season.
Daytona weekend was bad because of weather and, the fuel saving stuff that we didn't get into too much, but that was kind of a thing going into this race. We didn't have to worry about any of that. This was just a race. This was just a good race.
This is such a good mix of, and so I have a question, like what is different other than the size of the track? What is different from this? And it's a legit question, like, and I don't expect you to answer it, but what's different with this package from what we had last weekend? Are the cars exactly the same? Or are there some differences? And are there things that we can learn from this Atlanta race to make Daytona and Talladega suck less? Because those aren't good with this car right now. They look good on the surface, but it's not real racing. But when I watched this race on Sunday, like we saw cars, James, like the old Daytona, where you get mired to the back of the pack and you could work your way back up through and you could pass people. And that was something that I noticed I've got in the notes that Dale Jr. wants Fox to zoom out. He posted on Twitter. And
yeah, he did.
And Fox doesn't, it's hard to capture what you see there on TV, period, because it's a pack race. There's stuff happening all throughout the field, and you can't capture the whole thing for TV, period. But one of the things I noticed in the fall last year is that, yes, the draft is there. Yes, it's pack racing, but you can do stuff by yourself too, to a certain extent. And I think that's what makes this successful, is because A, you can get shuffled out and recover, and B, you can make moves without having to have a plan to make that move. And it can be successful. And just all of that stacked to just the closing rate and the speed that things happen and the size of this place. James, if they'd have made this place wider than it is and kept the banking at this level, it wouldn't be the same. I think just everything they did here was perfect to create this product that we have that I hope continues.
I hope it does too. I'm skeptical that it can, because the track is wearing
NASCAR
out,
is going to do what they can do to keep it, though. And that was something that I think, I forget who it was, Logano or Kozlowski or somebody said that once this thing starts to slip, NASCAR will make changes to try and get it back. Whether they put sealer down on the track or whatever, something to try and get that grip back to where. But I mean, that's the thing is, it's not even grip because these guys didn't have a lot of grip. They had less grip than they have at Daytona and Talladega, and I think that contributed too. I think the pushing when you got behind somebody in the corner and not being able to run up underneath their back bumper, I think all that helped everything.
Yeah,
and I think you commented that drivers were getting out even after wrecking. I mean, everybody wrecked just about. But they still weren't. They were still having fun. And I think that just it's because of the smaller scale, because of maybe lower speeds. It's less jarring when they get in those wrecks. They're not hitting at 20 G's when they hit the wall and stuff like that. I mean, it's a better experience, and so you're not in pain when you get out of the car after wrecking. And not only that, but you can wreck 14 cars at the start of the race and have 2 out. And the rest of them, one of those guys ends up winning the race.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I to go back to one of your points about guys being able to make moves, if you want an example of that, Austin Cindric, speaking of going 4 wide, like he shot out of nowhere late in the race, made a 4 wide pass, got to the lead, and then he was a factor for the rest of the day, just by sheer will, got a run, made the move, made a daring move, and you've seen guys making really hard 3 wide attempts. I thought Chase Briscoe got a lot of crap for him doing basically, I think, the same thing that most of the guys were doing out there. They were just trying to make a bunch of moves. And, if there was a gap, you guys could take it. And I think that was one of the beauties of this, of this race. And I think, Eric, and maybe you'll agree with me on this. I don't know. I haven't heard this yet, but, I think one of the contributors to this racing being so good, it's not so much the scale of the racetrack as it is, I think, the turning radius in the corners.
It could be.
If you think about Daytona and Talladega, you get into those corners and you're just kind of slowly turning in, right? You're basically barely veering off that straight line, and you're kind of floating around. When you go into the corners here at Atlanta, you are getting into those corners, you are on the wheel, you are, sawing at it to steal a Darrell Waltrip term. And I wonder if that's just leading to the drivability, because you're forcing these guys to really drive. And they're using the pack racing in the draft, but they are wheeling around out there.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. I don't know what it is. But something about it. And again, I was there last year. I'm strongly considering looking at my schedule and seeing how I can get back there this fall for the playoff race. This is Dale Jr. said on his podcast today that this is the ticket. This is the one. He used to recommend Daytona or Night Bristol, and now he recommends Atlanta. And I agree. I mean, the only issue I see with Atlanta is that they haven't kept it up as nice as some of these other tracks. But if people start showing up to that place, they'll put the renovations in and put the money in and fix it up. Not that it's a dump. It's certainly not a dump. The place is fine. But it's not to the level of Daytona and Phoenix and these tracks that are, have been reconfigured or remodeled in the last few years. So, I mean, it's just, so let's talk about this finish, James. Best finish in history, one of the best, top 5. Where do we rank this finish?
I hate this guy.
I know, but we've beaten to death the best driver in history conversation, so we might as well beat this one to death too, right?
Well, it can't be better than Darlington.
Are you sure? It can't be?
Yeah. No, you can't beat Darlington. That was incredible.
No, I agree.
That was so good. This is up there. I struggle to kind of place it somewhere, but I mean, recency bias has it probably top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
For me,
better than the 4 wide Talladega.
4 wide Talladega is really good.
But that was tandem though. I mean, there's kind of an asterisk with the tandem era, right?
There is, yeah, because you guys couldn't really race.
You want to talk manufactured? That was manufactured.
Yeah. Blaney being involved in all of these, by the way, is ridiculous. Right. He's in so many. What are they calling him now? The cameraman? Did you see that? That's his the nickname going around for Blaney because he's in all these photo finishes. It's really good.
Nice. How about?
Yeah, I mean,
what was it? 2007 Daytona, Harvick and Martin Better than that.
Yeah. Yep. That one's really good.
We didn't have a car upside down on fire in this one, so
That was a Blaney moment. Excuse me, a Boyer moment.
yeah.
Man, it's tough, Eric. There's been some. I mean,
It's top
Hamlin and
5. Got to be
Truex.
top 5, right?
Yeah, Hamlin and Truex because of the stakes at the Daytona 500. That was legit. Harvick and Mark Martin for I mean that one. Gosh, Eric, that's such a good one. But
Well,
the camera angle on that one was so good. I mean, that's iconic.
You got to think Harvick and Gordon in Atlanta too, 2001.
Oh yeah, and Earnhardt and
Labonte the year before, yeah.
Johnson and Edwards at Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's had some good ones.
Harvick at Auto Club comes to mind as well, where he snookered Johnson.
Well, you go back even. I mean,
Davey and Dale.
Yeah,
Davey and Dale at Michigan.
Yeah, 91 Michigan. That's what I was gonna say. That one's up top too. But I agree. I think best finish ever is the Darlington finish. It's gonna take a lot to beat that, just because. I mean,
was so crazy.
There's so much more to finishing a race like that than what these guys did.
Oh,
not to take anything away from these guys, but driving a car at Darlington versus driving a car at Atlanta,
two different
things.
That finish built over laps of time.
Oh yeah.
That finish. Yeah, you could go back 10 minutes and watch that finish and really be.
Yeah, you can't watch that finish without watching the last like 5-6 laps of that race.
Yeah, you got to watch the whole thing. That Watkins Glen 2012 finish is out of this world.
Yeah,
that's another one.
But
that's not a photo.
Yeah, not a photo finish though. But yeah, you're right.
That's maybe one of the great laps ever run in the history of the sport.
So maybe what you're saying is we're pretty spoiled as NASCAR fans. We've got a lot of finishes to choose from.
How can you? I mean, Eric, what's your best F1 finish over the last decade?
None of the above.
None. How about none?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
best race to turn one. That's pretty much F1.
Yeah, I guess if you want to, you want to talk about manufacture, the 2021 World Championship when Lewis got it taken away from him unfairly, I think that was probably the best finish. So.
Just for the record, the NASCAR Hall of Fame does have an exhibit on this, and this video will certainly be added to that exhibit.
Oh, if it's not already.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it has to be. So.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was, I look forward. I don't like recency bias, but I look forward to letting this one fester over time and kind of build its legacy.
Yeah.
I think whatever Daniel Suarez does with his career moving forward will play into that as well, because this is a moment for him, a massive moment, and probably, I don't want to say it did save his job, but this is a career changer for him, like potentially could solidify him here maybe for a little bit longer in that seat. So I want to see what he can do with it.
This is
it's well deserved.
Really, really great transition, because this is where I wanted to go with this is we just 2 weeks ago we sat here and talked about who are the drivers in the hot seat. We named 3 drivers on the hot seat, James.
Yeah.
We named Daniel Suarez, we named Austin Cindric, and we named Chase Briscoe. And all 3 of those guys were up front in this race. And again,
they were there.
This is Atlanta. This is not Las Vegas, which let's see what they do this weekend. But you got to think Daniel Suarez just took a pretty big step towards helping him secure that ride for a little while longer.
Well, absolutely. He's got a playoff berth kind of in his pocket.
Yeah.
Maybe he can do something on the road courses and do something there.
Right. They don't have pressure anymore the rest of the season. They can go out and try and win some more races and not just points their way in. Yeah. Austin Cindric, certainly we felt his presence this weekend. There were a couple moments when I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to win this race and make me look like an idiot.
Yep. Chase Briscoe was really rattling like people around out there, and it not in a bad way. I thought the booth was a little bit unfair to Chase, to be honest with you.
Well, so I'm gonna give you a spoiler, and I'm gonna do my black flag
fine.
right now.
Go ahead.
Because I disagree with you. Chase Briscoe's my black flag this week, because I thought, here's a guy who finally has a car that's up front, and he is going to run into everybody to make sure that he gets where he needs to go. I thought he drove like an idiot personally. And I think
he was,
his instance was one of those moments where you watch a rookie driver and you go, I know he's not a rookie, but you watch a rookie driver and you go, yeah, the way he's racing, it's only a number of laps. He's going to be in the wall. And sure enough, in the wall he goes.
And here's where I fall on that. He was good all the way through, and he got wrecked, and in my opinion, I'm okay if you disagree, and I'm okay if I'm wrong here.
I do disagree.
That's fine. In my opinion, he beat Hamlin into the corner. I feel like it's Hamlin's responsibility to let that position go because he got clearly beat into turn 3 before that whole situation even got started. So
I think you had a guy with a fast car that forgot what to do with one.
Yeah, I mean, he was putting it in weird spots and being.
He didn't need to drive the way he drove.
He could have been more cautious.
He could have been the 4th car side by side coming off of turn 4 if he wouldn't driven like an idiot, but he wrecked.
This is the same conversation we had with Ross Chastain 1 week ago.
Yeah.
You're not driving safe enough to get to the final lap.
It's a little different though. Because Ross did it coming to the white or crossing the line for the white flag. When did Briscoe wreck? It was earlier than that.
Yeah, it was late, but it was
late, but it was too early.
Yeah, lap 241, so he had 20 laps to go.
Yeah, no, that's too early. If Chastain would have wrecked, if Chastain would have done what he did with 20 laps to go, I'd have been right with you. But on the white flag lap,
Chastain. To be fair to Chastain, I mean, he did, he wrecked Chase Elliott earlier in the day, so he was, made sure he was. Make sure he was on the list for everything as well.
He gets no pass from me on that one. That one was pretty. Yeah, you're right. He ran him over.
He did. I was hoping Chase would have something to say, but Chase played it nice.
Yeah.
So.
Damn it.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll agree to disagree there, but I don't know. I feel like if you're Chase Briscoe, man, fire away. What do you got to lose?
I will say to see that team put out a fast race car, I mean, that's a good sign.
Yeah, their cars were we'll talk about the whole team here in a little bit, but the Fords in general were really fast, and the Stewart-Haas guys were pretty good. You didn't really hear from Josh Berry very much, but yeah, I mean the 14 was kind of the class of that crew there. So the Fords, man, though, Todd Gilliland was. Well, that's what I was just
gonna say. The other point that I was feeling like an idiot is we both again say Ty Gibbs going to be the first one is going to win his first race this season. And in second race of the year, Todd Gilliland leads 58 laps. And I thought he was winning this sucker.
He has led the most laps on the entire season so far. Doesn't have the points to show for it. But I mean, that car, those cars, the 38 and the 34, they are fast right now. I'm curious to see what they do in Vegas. Now. Yeah, well, yeah, they're tier 1, right? So and I think McDowell was saying when they got the pole, like they haven't even seen the benefits of that relationship yet. So
it's probably the webbed gloves.
Boy, the webbed
makes
gloves.
Them faster.
Oh my God,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Oh man, I tell you though, Eric, I don't know, man. The Ford can. I know the Fords haven't won in a hot second here, but they look pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Brad was around again and he wrecked.
Yeah.
So was Chris Buescher and even Harrison Burton, you don't hear a whole heck of a lot from him, but he almost got top 10 too. So the Ford guys brought it on Sunday.
Yeah. Ryan Blaney, 31 laps led. Austin Cindric, 32 laps led. McDowell 27.
Gilliland 58,
27 for Joey Logano.
I mean, those are your top guys. Yeah. Outside of that, then you had Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, in double figures. But other than that, yeah, those are your big leaders of the day.
It'd be really interesting to see what happens these next couple weeks with more traditional tracks. See what those Fords can do.
Yeah, they've got something cooking.
Yeah,
I don't want to rule them out just yet. I mean, there's something there. I know they're not winning, but they'll balance it. It'll balance itself out. If you've got fast race cars, you'll eventually get there.
Not a great weekend for Josh Williams.
No.
Who was pretty excited about coming back to Atlanta. 37th in the Xfinity Series race and 37th in the Cup Series race. So
it's good. It's good average.
Yeah. So James, what do you think?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at the NASCAR schedule here right now. What do you think about April 15th, April 16th? That's about the time the shovels go in the ground at Texas. They start tearing that place up and making Atlanta too.
I saw you message this, and at first I was like, no. Hold on. We only need one of these.
Let's
However,
do it. Let's do it. Tear that sucker up.
if you were gonna do one more, do Texas.
It is
So
the
I guess I don't have.
second biggest sporting complex in the country. Why not have one of the best racetracks there?
That place is a dump.
Yeah.
So you might as well do something with it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Or if they're not going to do it there, let's tear Michigan up and do it there because I want to see this every freaking race I go to, man.
I don't know if you could replicate it at Michigan unless you made the track smaller. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you do this treatment to Michigan, you get Daytona and Talladega, not what
You
we have at
probably,
Atlanta.
you probably do. You do a 2 mile. It'd be a 2 mile Daytona.
Yeah.
You have to bank the heck out of it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man. I'm for it. Texas. I mean, Texas wasn't an awful race last year. It certainly wasn't the worst race last year. But it wasn't the best either. What are we waiting for? Let's do it. And Dale Jr. talked about it a little bit today. That they've got Marcus Smith has these plans in his hand. They've got a plan to do this. If they may not go that direction, but the plans are drawn up. They've had iRacing on it.
Yeah. Well, if there's a dead horse that hasn't been hit with a stick, Marcus Smith and the NASCAR people, they are going to find a way. We have left more carcasses beaten than anybody else in sports. So
I mean, I wouldn't. There's nowhere else I would do this. Michigan's the only 2 mile track left now that California's gone. Vegas, Kansas, they don't need this. They run just fine the way they are. Charlotte doesn't need this. Charlotte is a terrific track right now. Nashville has its own thing with the concrete, and that track races really well. Texas is the place. Texas is the place that needs the work out of our 1.5 mile tracks. And you
could get a crowd there.
Oh yeah.
If you did it right. I mean, they used to get crowds there.
Well, you could get rid of that Circuit of America's race that we rent that track out for and put them back on the oval at Texas, run 2 races out there again on a good track, and people would love it, Or better yet, put the All-Star race back at Texas with this style of racing and make North Wilkesboro a points race,
Yep.
So whatever. I mean, the writing's on the wall. It's coming. It's coming.
Something's coming. Yeah. Texas can't survive as it is.
No.
It's an expensive investment though. So I don't know if it's a year from now, 2 years from now, but I could see that being the one.
I think they're already making the calls, getting the dozers out there.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. The thing I want to keep an eye on moving forward this year is the 1.5 mile racetracks are really freaking good on their own. Like they don't need to be injected with the juice.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's really the only one that needs an injection, I think.
Like if they did this to Kansas, I'd be furious because I think Kansas is good, and I think Vegas can be very good.
If they wanted to save money at Texas, all they really have to do is take turn 1 and make it like turn 3 and 4.
And because that's what it used to be.
Yeah.
And before they did that, whatever the heck they did out there,
this car would race just fine there, and they wouldn't have another Atlanta. But it would race great.
Charlotte's good. Yeah. I mean, Charlotte's been so good. We've decided that we don't want the Roval anymore. So,
right. Well, you have.
Well,
I still like the Roval.
Yeah. Okay.
I would rather run the Roval and run Charlotte the way it is and get Chicagoland back than
Chicagoland would be good.
Than run 2 races at Charlotte.
Well, when the Chicago street race inevitably fails, we could always,
It ain't gonna fail.
Good, do something with Chicago.
2 more years there, and then they'll go somewhere else. But
yeah.
Sure. Anything else with the Cup race at Atlanta? We're gonna buzz through these Xfinity and truck races because we went from one end of the spectrum to the other. But anything else with the Cup cars?
We definitely did
before we head over there.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else on the day, but no. I mean, the story is the finish. The story is the racing. Everything else in between, I think we're good with because, man, what a day! What a day overall. We could talk about it forever if we wanted to, but yeah, we can leave it here.
Kevin Harvick's coming into his own too. I think he's getting comfortable. His analysis
he's
is
good.
Really good. It's good to hear somebody who just raced these cars.
Yep.
He provides a lot to the broadcast, so I really like having him there.
Did you see the video of the booth when they were coming to the line.
Yeah.
Harvick, I don't know if he gave Boyer like a squeeze to say, "Hey man, don't say anything here. Let it finish." Because that seemed to be what was what was going on there. So, yeah, he knows when to call a race, and he also knows when to not talk.
Well, I'll tell you what, man.
He gets out of the way.
Dale Jr. hasn't signed with NBC yet. Can we just put Dale Jr. in the Fox booth and move Boyer to like the pre-race show?
Poor Clint. He's not going anywhere.
Clint would be a great Michael Waltrip for the pre-race show.
He's just screaming all the time. He really is Tony Romo.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I love Clint. I love Clint, but I don't know.
He's got a shtick.
Yeah.
So,
he definitely fits the Fox aesthetic, that's for sure.
Yes, he does. Yep.
All right, let's talk Xfinity and trucks. NASCAR Xfinity Series, Austin Hill does Austin Hill things once again. I bet you he wished that we raced on super speedways every weekend of the year.
Is he going to try to go 36? What is it? How many races on their schedule? 36? 36 and 0?
Yeah.
34 and 0? Is that what they got on their schedule?
He's not going to because they aren't all plate tracks.
Well, he could go. Well, I mean, he could win. Well, he's got a few more coming up. He's got Talladega. He's got Daytona on there. He'll be fine. 2
laps led, and he wins this thing. He only placed 8th in the second stage. He didn't place anywhere in the first stage.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah. There's nothing else to say. I don't know. Nothing else to say there.
Was he the one that you and I used to get into it about somebody on the speedways not being that good? I don't think it was Austin Hill.
No, it wasn't Austin Hill. I can't think of who it was, but it wasn't Austin
Tyler
Hill.
Reddick?
No.
I can't remember who it was. Austin Hill just wins these things all the dang time.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Jeez, man.
How about a third place finish for
Jane Van Giesbergen?
Yeah.
And
yep.
Hey, while we're at it, 4th place finish for
Sheldon Creed.
Yep. Yep.
We got to talk about the Xfinity Series just so I can use my buttons. And then what a disappointing day for
Jesse Love.
Yeah, he was really good, wasn't he?
He was so good, man. 157 laps led in this thing.
Oh my god!
And he finishes freaking 12th.
I know.
How about? I mean, do you think every single Ford crew chief got written up on Monday because they sucked at their calculations?
Yeah, they were bad.
All the Fords ran out of gas at the same time.
Yep, Herbst and Custer, they were right next to each other, and yeah, there's not that many Fords in the field, but yeah,
Deegan was a Ford too, isn't she?
Yep, Deegan's in a Ford.
Yeah, she ran out at the same time.
Yep. So and
Jesse Love made it an extra lap in the Chevy.
And yep. Oh my god, that race was a disaster.
We might as well just talk about the truck race at the same time. We get a win out of
KFB.
In the trucks.
Spire truck, yeah, man.
Yeah, Spire truck. But both these races, man, they just talk about, like I said, the other end of the spectrum. There just was no passing, single file racing. I was so prepared for Sunday to be a bust after these 2 races.
A lot of people were, though. I saw a lot of that noise online of people saying you tear this place up, and I was kind of feeling it myself. And then I've come to the conclusion, well, just leave the support series at home. Don't even bring them. Quit tearing stuff up.
In the theory, I think it was DBC. The theory was just that that's how good the Cup drivers are. They can handle these cars, and the Xfinity and truck guys just don't have the experience to know that they can make the moves down on the bottom like these guys were making in the Cup race.
Well, yeah.
You know, they don't have the skill to drive the cars as perfectly as the Cup drivers do. So they struggle in those instances.
Well, look who won. Austin Hill didn't even hardly lead, but he was always there.
Right.
And then Kyle Busch, and it's like, yeah, those are the 2 guys you would expect to come out of there. So
yeah, it's true.
The guys who led, I mean, that's a whole different story. Like Tyler Ankrum, Ty Majeski, they led in the truck race, but at the end of the day, it was Kyle Busch's day. So,
right.
And Grant Enfinger, he's been driving these things forever. So,
yeah,
that makes sense. That's a fair assessment, I think.
Yeah, I don't. Go ahead.
The trucks we should add. The trucks were just the roofs were flying off.
What's up with that?
I don't know. It sounds like some NASCAR from the sounds of it. NASCAR's not going to hammer out any penalties on that because it sounds like it was a parts thing where the parts were not strong enough for what was going on out there. So
I'm
that
sure
was really
I'm sure
weird.
that wasn't intentional.
Yeah, no kidding. No, that was strange. I don't recall seeing that before, where the roofs are just blowing off of trucks.
Yeah, I think it's people trying stuff, but
Could be.
I don't know. I'm surprised no penalties came down for that today.
Was that who was it? Bailey Curry? Was he the one with the I mean, that was the most egregious one, but there was a lot of dented hoods flying around out there too. So
well, one of them was the result of hitting Bailey Curry's roof when it came off.
Yes. Yes.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I've come to the conclusion over the years and of watching this stuff that none of this stuff happens by accident, James.
No.
So there's just too coincidental that we had multiple issues with windshields again, which continues to be the area that everybody messes with.
Well, in the truck series and the Xfinity series, you've got a little more room to play with things than you do with the cup cars. So you're going to see some of that stuff.
Yeah, they don't need special gloves in the lower series.
Right.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, NASCAR issued penalties today for the Cup Series. They didn't issue for the lower series, so I'm expecting that we won't see anything from this.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to let this go. I mean, I guess the penalty is your roof blew off. So.
Yeah, I mean, Bailey Curry definitely served the penalty of not finishing the race. I got another one for you for the Truck Series. Okay? Here's my question. Does NASCAR care about safety or not? Because we had a wreck during pit stops in the Cup Series.
Oh, that was bad.
That we didn't throw a yellow flag for. Because
Byron was sitting halfway on the racing surface.
Yeah.
For an extended period of time.
We had, caved in windshields that you could see. I mean, everybody watching TV saw it. Why weren't those black flagged? And we had a car with no brakes, or a truck with no brakes.
Yeah.
Continuing to race on the track when it was confirmed he had no brakes and he almost ran over his pit crew. What the hell? Why are we not? NASCAR listen to those radios. NASCAR knows he doesn't have brakes. Why are they letting him race?
Can we call it early season jitters? Maybe getting it out of the.
I don't know, man. I question decisions that are made up there all the time, and I just don't get why. They don't want to be WWE, so stop being WWE. Throw the cautions when they should be thrown. Yeah. Black flag people when they should be black flagged. There is no reason that 19 truck needed to be back on the track. None.
Well, and going back to the McDowell Byron pit road thing, that I feel like gets called 9 times out of 10, and that was the 10 time it didn't.
Right.
Because you had a car. I mean, there was cars at full speed, and his car was.
The reason we pit on the backstretch is because of how dangerous pit road is.
Boy, and that backstretch.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
And that backstretch did its due diligence in kicking people out of that race because a lot of guys got trapped a lap down after some pretty egregious speeding penalties. That's got to be the toughest pit road to get onto.
Well, and they were saying speeding penalties were all happening in the transition.
Yeah.
Not at the beginning. It was at the transition between the 100 miles an hour and the lower speed.
Yep, some guys were shortcutting those corners a little bit. I think that's what got Chastain because he came flying in.
Yeah,
and I think he got it woed up, but he couldn't get it woed up enough.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have an answer for you there. It seems like it's feast or famine sometimes on some of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't get it. And I realize they get blasted no matter what they do. If they throw the caution, they're gonna get blasted. If they park Christian Eckes, they're gonna get blasted. But I mean, I feel like there was a caution flag there. He's talking about having no brakes. He drives through his pit stall. All they got to do is say, "Okay, Christian, you got to stop. Yep. I want to see you stop on this line. You can't do it. Okay, you're done.
Yep.
Park it. It's really easy to test to see if he's got brakes or not.
Yeah.
Or see if they got it fixed. So
yeah.
I don't know. I just again, if it's about safety, then let's not. I mean, Atlanta's a track with no pit wall on the inside of or between the track and the pits. So he comes off turn 4, spins, and now he's got no brakes. He's going to drive right into that pit wall. It just there's too many instances of danger allowing that car to race. It
Well,
should have been parked.
It's a dangerous sport, but it doesn't have to be as dangerous.
Right.
You know,
We shouldn't be stupid.
Yeah. Questionable calls, but my hope is that it'll iron itself out here. Now we've got these speedways out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's settle in now and let's start calling things a little bit more consistently.
So before we leave Atlanta, our feelings have changed about the playoffs now. Are we a little more excited about Atlanta starting the playoffs?
It'll be fun. Yeah. Some guys are going to be in a big hole coming out of there.
Yeah.
It's going to, somebody's going to be really happy and somebody's going to be really, really bummed.
I think the only way you could possibly amp up the intensity from what we saw this weekend is to put the playoffs on the line.
Well, Daytona's always good with the playoffs on the line. I mean, it ratchets up. So, yeah, I mean, this is an advancement right there to be had.
This would be a good experiment towards making Atlanta a cutoff race in the future.
It could be. Yeah, you could move Daytona back to its original date.
Yeah.
Back on July 4th, which I'm pro July 4th.
Yeah, right. So, definitely.
Firecracker 400, baby.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I don't know. July nighttime in Florida is just a bad idea. Well, and daytime's not a good idea either. So
we have bad luck with Daytona right now.
It's too damn hot during the day and it rains at night in July. So it's just bad all the way around.
Yep.
All right, let's talk some new stuff. I already mentioned Dale Jr., but he reiterated on his podcast again this week that he's still not re-signed with NBC. He's currently still he's still unsigned. He's still unemployed, I guess you could say. He did say on his podcast that he will not be a remote broadcaster. He will not sign with a network that has him broadcasting from a remote location. He wants to be at the track, so that's good to hear.
Yep.
But man, if NBC lets him slip, what a mistake.
Well, I had read something where Amazon's already sniffing around with like big money for him, but
they'd be stupid if they didn't.
Well, yeah, I mean, he should be doing Amazon and NBC.
Yeah.
And that should be his block.
Should be doing all of them.
Well, yeah.
Should be on every freaking network.
No,
honestly, you know what? If Junior doesn't sign to broadcast, they should put him in a leadership role in NASCAR. I mean, honestly, he should have a leadership role in NASCAR.
Yeah. And he doesn't want to work that much.
No.
So, yeah.
No, that's why his sister runs Junior Motorsports.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
He comes in and plays on the radio 3 times a week.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's got it. He's got a nice schedule, man. Yeah. I wouldn't mess with it.
He gets to enjoy those beer toasts when they win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Dale Jr., I mean, I got to give him credit. He could put his feet up 24/7 if he wanted to, but I think he's out there. I mean, I know he's trying to buy Legos and stuff, and he's he has fun.
Yeah, he was bitching about the Titanic Lego today.
Oh yeah, Byron's got him on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why he's got such a kick to get that dang thing. Who would want? I mean,
dude, I want.
My kids love Legos, but that's a project.
I want it, but I don't want to put it together.
I don't want to do that kind of time.
I love it. I don't know why I love the Titanic, but I do. I know a lot of people do. So, but I don't know. Yep. Anyway, NASCAR proposes a 7-year extension of the charter agreement to the teams. Of course, the teams want a permanent charter agreement because they treat the charter as a franchise, which NASCAR says was never the intent of the charter agreement. I don't know. I mean, progress, I guess.
Well, yeah, the team's got a lawyer. So that's interesting. My reading on it was that the owners, because we have so many old guys right now, they're trying to set up generationally here for the future for their family. And this is their last stab at it. A 7-year, I guess, stay wouldn't probably get it done. So I think it's a nice step, but I don't think it's going to get it done.
Of course, NASCAR, the 7-year extension coincides with the 7-year or the 6-year TV contract as well.
Yes.
So that is why NASCAR wants to do that, because obviously if they're going to re-up an agreement, they want to do it at the same time as the TV contract. I don't know. I mean, I'm mixed on it. It's really hard to say lifetime of anything. But the charter agreement seems to be doing what it seems to be doing things a positive or sending things in a positive direction.
Yep.
We talked about it on here before. Again, I hate it, but I like it for the business of the sport and the fact that we have as many competitive teams as we have. Because if we didn't have the charter agreement, sure, we might be having 50 teams show up to race a 42 car field every week like we used to, or like we did back in the day. But of those 42 cars that made the race, 30 of them would be competitive. And right now, of the 40 cars that race, 38 of them are competitive. So I prefer that, you know?
Exactly.
So, I don't know.
It's necessary evil. I think we will get a deal done.
Yeah, I think so. This is progress in the right direction. I mean, I guess, I don't know if you read anything, but I didn't read anything where the teams had really even acknowledged this offer. So I don't know what their reaction was to it. Other than that, I know they want permanent.
Yeah, I think when they went and got a lawyer to work on this,
the writing's kind of on the wall there.
Yeah, they're gonna stay quiet. They're probably not gonna say much.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder what like Stewart-Haas is doing.
Yeah,
like I understand like where Penske's coming from and Hendrick, Gibbs. You know, they want to set this thing up for a long time, but there's owners that aren't at that point. So yeah, I'm curious to see what we're gonna have here.
What do you feel like is too late to make a deal? Like where does this need to be done by? I mean, we got to have something signed by playoffs, right?
I say before the playoffs. Yeah.
If it's past the start of the playoffs, or we're not real close before the start of the playoffs, that's a bad deal. I would. Yeah,
they gotta get something done by August 1. I would say is probably the hard deadline. Yeah. Gotta keep working towards August 1. That'd be my goal.
I think that's a good timeline.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got you go ahead and do the penalties here, James, because you added this after I was on the road. So I didn't see this, so I'm reading it for the first time. Well, I read it for the first time when I read the notes. So go ahead.
Yeah, no. So Stewart-Haas Racing, they had their rail deflectors taken at Atlanta.
Yep.
NASCAR didn't like what they saw, and then they let them go through. Found out today that 35-point penalty for the 41 and the 10. So Noah Gragson, Ryan Preece, they lose 35 points.
I assume that's owner and team points.
Or owner and team. Points? Yep. It's a tier. Was it a tier 1?
Okay.
They call it. So yeah, they got a big old points fine. So they're smack dab at the bottom. I think we have more points than them now.
Right.
On the season.
It's true.
So yeah, I mean, once again, Stewart-Haas trying to do stuff.
What did they say? Like. DBC, I think, said that is there a team out there that cheats more without winning than Stewart-Haas?
Yeah, I mean, it gets busted more than. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they. I'm trying to find out. I was trying to find out. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. But yeah. Anyway, the other two Stewart-Haas cars were fine, but I guarantee you, Eric, that the Stewart-Haas cars, there's going to be at least one of those bad boys going to tech after every race here for the foreseeable future. I don't understand why they keep getting busted for silly things. So
Noah Gragson has -6 points.
Yes. Yep.
And Ryan Preece has 0.
He has 0. So we had 2 races in and nothing to show for it. So I'm gonna have to win now, boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Logano got some money taken away too.
Yes. So
apparently he was playing catch or something. He needed that extra.
You hinted at the webbed glove earlier. Yeah. He got a monetary fine.
Is this $10,000. Stupid penalty, or is this a holy crap? I can't believe they came up with that penalty.
This is a holy crap. I can't believe they came up with that penalty. For
I agree, man.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he got lucky on the pass through at Atlanta, because he had to start the race going through the pits and they wrecked immediately. So he was right back in the mix of things. But yeah, so what he was doing, if you haven't seen the video, they created this webbed glove and he was using it at Daytona, by the way, when he won the pole.
Yeah, it probably helped him win the pole at Daytona.
Yeah, holding his hand up to the window net and blocking air from getting in the car with a webbed glove.
To be clear, drivers do this, apparently. This is not new. They just haven't manufactured their glove to help.
Yep.
And also, to be clear, he did not get fined $10,000 for the webbed glove. He got fined $10,000 because the glove was not certified for the flame retardation because of the modification.
Right, and what Denny Hamlin said, I saw this clip, but Denny Hamlin said, yeah, the gloves were approved
Right.
previously, and they added this after the fact.
Right, which is not approved. So,
And then Denny also said that somebody came after him. Denny's like, this was a witch hunt to get them, and somebody
well,
saw it and didn't like it,
I mean,
which
to
is
be
fine.
fair, he had an onboard camera during Daytona qualifying too. So, like,
yeah, you're gonna get busted.
the
I don't
camera was
understand.
pointed at him. I mean,
Yeah, I know. That was really dumb.
yeah, but brilliant too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good try, but really stupid.
Daytona USA used to have an exhibit of a bunch of confiscated parts they'd pulled off of cars. And this would definitely make that exhibit because there were some really good ones. I mean, they used to show up at Daytona with window nets with like 20 or 30 extra straps on them, so that all the little holes were like really tiny.
Yeah,
And they'd get DQ'd for that or get the
Yeah.
window net taken away. And I guess they said on I think Junior's podcast today, they said they used to put clear vinyl behind the window nets.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing. But when you take a car and you get rid of every area you can work on, the tiniest little thing makes a difference. And sticking your hand out the window will make a difference.
Well, Cole Pern went viral this weekend because Chase Briscoe was talking about the weigh-in process.
I know
won't
this was
say-
gonna be my show title, but I
okay. Yeah,
probably can't do that.
Yeah, I won't say what he said on the podcast. 'cause
No?
there might be.
You think we're not? You think that's too adult?
Yeah. You'd have to bleep it, I think.
Let's just say that drivers were. He made a comment about drivers adding tungsten to
Their bodies.
Yes. Just leave it at that. Look up Cole
Yeah.
Pern's tweet.
So Chase Briscoe said now the drivers have to weigh in and basically their underwear now. So yeah, but wasn't it Dale Jr. who said they used to strap lead vests on and things like that?
Yeah, somebody said that. I forget who it was. Elliott Sadler used to be in the hauler before weigh in, and he'd just be grabbing nuts and bolts and shoving them in his pockets. So
That's great, man.
yeah,
All the
all that
little
stuff
things.
you don't think about, man.
Yep. Oh my god. Yep.
I mean, there's been a lot of drivers that have been busted for lead helmets in the cars during weigh-in.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
Boy. Yeah.
or lead radios. That was the other one. They used to take chunks of lead and put them in the radio case.
Oh yeah. Remember lead used to fall out of race cars
Oh, yeah.
back in the. Oh my god,
Yeah,
man, that's bad.
to the point that NASCAR prints your number on it now, so you can't get away with it.
Yep. That's bad.
Still, the best one though are the pellets, the lead pellets that Darrell Waltrip's team used to put in the car, and the hole to let them out. He would release them during the race, and the hole to let them out was in the jack stand or the jack peg. So they would put the jack under the car and cover up the hole, so NASCAR could never find where that lead was coming from. But they knew it was there. They knew it was coming out. They'd find the lead pellets around the racetrack, but they couldn't figure out where it was coming from.
That is really good,
Of
man.
course, back in the old days, man. Now, believe what you want of Darrell, because Darrell does exaggerate stories, but Darrell's book is so great talking about some of this stuff. I mean, they would cut areas of the roll cage out and hide nitrous in the roll cage. I mean,
Yes.
they were doing some stupid crap back then.
Junior talked about that this week too, where he said all the cars were. He said basically even the cars that sucked back then would have
Yeah.
nitrous in their car.
Yeah.
So that's nuts.
Yeah,
Man.
There was the old spoiler that was designed to go down with hydraulics on the super speedways and then raise
Yeah.
back up for inspection. Oh yeah, man, all that stuff.
Good stuff. Good. What a time.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, cheating sucks, but it's part of the sport too. It's innovation,
Yep.
man.
Yeah,
And
there you
hey,
go.
they didn't, I mean, again, they broke the rules because the glove wasn't certified, but they didn't break the rules for what they could do, you know? I mean,
Yep.
they were working in a gray area. So
Yeah, they were absolutely.
they got a pull out of it. So
Yep.
lost $10,000. They didn't lose any points, and they, like you said, they lucked out in the drive-through. So
Yep.
no loss really. $10,000
right.
bucks. That's nothing.
That's right. Yep.
Joey Logano's got that in his couch cushions in his camper.
Yeah. Oh, the webbed glove.
Yeah.
Where will we? Yeah. I mean, where will we go next?
Well, where will we go next, James? We'll go to Las Vegas Motor Speedway this weekend. That's where we're heading next. Another
There
one
you
of those
go.
professional transitions.
Yes, sir.
All three series in action once again this weekend. The NASCAR Cup Series, Pennzoil 400 is Sunday at 3 p.m. NASCAR Xfinity Series, the LiUNA or LiUNA, I don't know how you pronounce it, is Saturday at 5 p.m. I had to look it up, by the way. That is the
Is it LiUNA?
Laborers International Union of North America.
Let's say LiUNA.
Yeah.
How about that?
There's an I in there though, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a union, guys. It's a union.
There you go.
NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in action Friday night when the Truck Series should be racing. I'm excited about that. The Victoria's Voice Foundation 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Would love to see them take the trucks and run them on the bull ring or something instead on the big track. But anyway,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
with that, we get to make our picks, James, and I believe you have you go first. Are you first this week? Is that correct?
I guess so.
Okay, good, because I don't know who I'm picking for this race. I didn't look it up. So who you got? Who you picking this weekend? You picking one? You picking many?
There's a guy who's fast who's gonna show up here and probably win this race because he needs a nice day. I'll say Joey Logano.
Joey Logano, that's a good one. Well, I'm gonna say we get our first repeat winner of the season, and I'm gonna go William Byron as my pick here.
Yep. Continue his little stomping from last year as he trounced around. Yep.
Trying to think of other guys to watch. I mean, any of the Hendrick cars are gonna be good here.
Yep.
I believe Fords usually are pretty decent here. I don't know. We don't know what to expect because
the Supra is going to be, or the Camry, I mean, is going to be interesting to watch too.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is we got two cars with new bodies, or new notes at least.
Yes.
So we don't know what to expect here this weekend. We get to practice, so we'll have an idea going into Sunday.
This race will set the tone for probably the next 5 weeks of who you can really think is best.
So let's look at the schedule right now, James. We're gonna go to Las Vegas this weekend, and then we go to Phoenix, which is of course not a mile and a half and very different from the other tracks we run. Yep. Then we go to Bristol, which obviously, and we're not running dirt this year, we're running on the concrete.
Thank God.
Then we go to Circuit of the Americas, so we got a road course. Then we get Richmond, a short track. Then we get Martinsville, a short track. It's not until Texas on April 14th
so maybe
we get another mile and a half.
Yeah, so maybe we see what we got here, and then you'll know what we got for Texas. So
I mean, we've really weeded out the mile and a half. So we go Texas on April 14th. We don't go back to another one until Kansas on May 5th. And then we go to Charlotte May 26th. So basically once a month, we're doing a mile and a half now.
I feel like Bristol will be aero dependent a little bit. So maybe we'll
to a certain extent, we'll see. But it's still a short track. But about once a month we go to mile and a halves until you get to the playoffs, and then not really. I mean, I guess you got Vegas and Homestead that are right next to each other, but they're different tracks. So I don't know. I mean, I guess those people that don't like mile and a half tracks, we certainly weeded them out of the schedule. Now they're the best racing we have. So
So last 3 winners here. Logano, Byron, Larson won the playoff race.
There you go. Yeah, Larson's always a threat.
And he kicked butt in the playoff race. Bell was really good that day. Remember that was a close finish that day. Brad was good that day.
Love to see. Would love Brad got to get a win this year, man.
I know.
Got to get a win.
I know. 1 year ago, I mean, Byron and Larson have dominated here, so probably a bad pick on my part. But I don't know. I like the Pennzoil car at the Pennzoil race. Yeah, Joey seems to always find a way around here. So
yeah,
guess we'll find out.
I just moved your fantasy league up, so that's next, James.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
So yeah, I think didn't you do well this weekend?
Well, there had to be somebody who would break the 200-point barrier for the first time this year, and it was me. Yes, I got the win. It was actually really easy. Once Christopher Bell wrecked out early on, he was on my bench the rest of the way, so I really had no choice. And then a couple of new guys, I should say a new guy finished second, Smoking Grill Racing, and then Hot Rod Todd was third, Barron Speedway fourth. Eric, where are you? Oh my God,
my way in the back. So here's the deal: I forgot to make my picks.
Oh no!
And I remembered as the race was starting, and it was too late to switch them out. So fortunately, I had picks from Daytona, so it wasn't awful, but it obviously was awful. So.
Well, you're 13th in the standings.
Yeah.
Right behind Shut Up Roger, so you guys can figure that out.
Like I said, I was in the midst of taking 27,000 photos this weekend, so I was a little distracted.
I was so bad, Eric, at Daytona that I'm still 5th in points with that win. So I got a ways to go to catch Hot Rod Todd, who's in the lead right now. But it's close, so early in the season yet, so not really anything for overall standings. But we got Hot Rod Todd, Jeff Gordon for GOAT, and Hendrick Flair top 3. Trying to see where Barron is at. Barron is 7th. 2 points behind me. I mean, yeah, we're all over the place. We're early yet. So I think Barron was at Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw that on his social media.
I believe you might be correct.
Yep. So there you go. Fantasy League update. Done.
There you go.
I love getting a dub. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's keep it coming.
I don't know what that's like. So
I won both of my leagues. I'm in another league too. I won that one. So I had a great Atlanta experience.
Here,
let's do that every week.
Let me give you some applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wait,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry. That should be this one.
Yay. There he is. Yes.
Right. Gotta play with the sound effects. Checker flags, James. I'm first on this. I can't think of what mine was, so I'm just gonna give a big checkered flag to Marcus Smith and the work they did at Atlanta to make this place the best track on the circuit. So
perfect. I had to listen to stage 1. I was doing some traveling. I had to listen to stage 1 on PRN.
Oh yes.
And those boys were working.
I bet, man.
It was awesome.
They had to be freaking worn out by the time this sucker was over.
I really enjoyed actually listening to the PRN guys for the first part of the race. I might make that part of my routine. Instead of flipping the TV on right away, I might just have the radio go for a little while. Because I always like the radio broadcast. I can get a little bit taste of it early on, and then tap into the race from there. But yeah,
having been to a race, you feel like you're there because that's what they play on the speakers.
That's right.
I mean, every time I listen to MRN, I feel like I'm at the track.
Yeah, but Doug Rice and those guys, they called a good one. That was fun and I didn't even listen. I mean, I heard the clips of the end of the race, but yeah, they were working hard. It was great.
Both networks do a terrific job. We're really lucky. We sit here and bitch about TV broadcasts too, James, but we get live TV every weekend. We get, every week we know who the announcers are going to be. We get great radio broadcasts, dedicated radio broadcasts. Got a freaking satellite radio channel dedicated to our sport. We're pretty damn lucky.
Yep.
So now we just need a pay-per-view TV package, and that'll be good to go.
Yes, sir.
Black flags, I already gave you mine. Chase Briscoe. You got anybody this week, James?
Well, yeah, it was going to be Joey Logano in his glove, but now you've got me thinking that it might have been brilliant. So I don't know. I guess black flag that they got caught.
Yeah.
But that was an innovative one. To see that on Sunday was quite shocking and fun.
Who'd he cut off in the race to wreck? Was it Busher that he cut off and put himself in the wall?
Oh, it might have been.
Trying to squeeze in a hole. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
Black flag him for that.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. He had a good race going too. So
yeah. You say you can also black flag all the Ford crew chiefs.
Yeah, you can do that.
So, Dale Jr. says the solution to fixing the Xfinity and Truck Series races at Atlanta is just change stage lengths, get the fuel mileage out of the equation. So,
yeah, just leave him home.
NASCAR Jesus has spoken. So,
NASCAR. Does he like that nickname?
Probably not.
Yeah,
probably not. I'm sure he doesn't, but
yeah.
That's not going to stop me.
No, that's okay.
Man, I feel like I don't want to stop talking about Atlanta, but I guess it's time. James, where can people reach out to you if they want to hit you up during the week?
Yeah, at James Cush on X or Twitter or wherever the heck you want to call it. There you go.
You can get me at T Super Speedway on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/TheSuperSpeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Anchor. Wherever you found us, subscribe. New episodes each week throughout the season. We'll be here. And if you go to anchor.fm/thesuperspeedway, you can leave us an audio message, and we might just play it on the show. We go to Las Vegas Motor Speedway this weekend. Again, all 3 series in action. James, go get yourself some rest and recover from your cold. We'll be back next week to break it all down and continue on with our NASCAR season. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.